How's it going, guys? I hope you're very well. Welcome back to Appetite Homemade, and today we're going to be looking at a lovely gooey chocolate fondant. Stick around, I'll show you how to do it. Yep, so today, guys, like I said, we're going to be showing you a lovely chocolate fondant. I've already got some of the stuff weighed out, ready to go, just to make things a little bit quicker. I'm going to show you what we've got over here. So here, guys, we have got our dark chocolate and our butter already weighed out. That's 200 grams of each. This was a 72% cocoa solids dark chocolate. And then we've got our a saucepan of water, just getting hot there. We're going to bring that up to a simmer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our butter and our chocolate melted over the water. Important thing, guys, to remember is when you're doing anything like this, melting chocolates and things over water, make sure that when you sit your bowl in the pan, it's dry on the bottom, because you don't want the bottom of that bowl touching the water, otherwise it can burn, and we don't want burnt chocolate. So we're going to get that on. We just want that water simmering away. We don't really want a rolling boil or anything, just to get that working away. And whilst that's doing, we're going to prep our moulds and get them ready set in the fridge. So whilst we've got our chocolate and our butter melting in a pan over there, that's out of the way. Next thing we do is work in our moulds. All we're going to need is some softened butter. This is just room temperature, it's about 50 grams. It's going to be far too much for what we need anyway. And then we've just got some cocoa powder. So we're just going to get the butter, roll it around in the moulds, get it all covered, and then sprinkle some cocoa powder inside. So we'll get one. You can melt this butter and brush it on if you prefer that. But, I mean, I don't mind just getting my hands in there. With a nice even spread. Try not to get it too clumpy. So once the butter's done, we're just going to take some cocoa powder, dump a good amount in the bottom of the mould, and then we'll just roll it around, get it nice and evenly covered. I should get my hand out of the way, really, shouldn't I? Tipping it all up, and then any excess we could drop into the next mould, and then we'll be looking for something that looks remotely like that. So we're going to do all four, get them nice evenly coated, place them all in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes, just to set that butter back up. Have a look at our butter and our chocolate in this bowl now, guys. It's been simmering away for a good couple of minutes, just while we've been sorting out the moulds. We want to give that a good swish around, and also now it's to this stage, I'm going to remove it from the heat. I'm going to remove it from the gas, and then just let the heat of the water finish it off. And then that'll be nice and silky. So whilst our chocolate's just over on the side finishing off and the moulds are in the fridge, we're going to start our actual cake batter, and we're going to show you that now. So in a large bowl, we're going to need one of these as well. We're going to be doing 4 whole eggs, and 4 egg yolks. So I'm not going to be reusing the whites for anything today, but you could keep them and make like a meringue out of them. So there's 1 egg yolk. I always like to use the gravity of the egg, I suppose, to catch the yolk in my fingers. But obviously you can do the whole one of these motions, or get yourself a little gadget. Cool. That's the eggs. So next into that, we've got 200 grams of caster sugar, and we're just going to beat that together until it's sort of slightly changed colour and it's nice and fluffy. See that there, guys, our eggs and our sugar have doubled in size. They're sort of like an off-white colour, and if you put your whisk in and remove it, as you sort of just leave a pattern there, if you do a figure of 8, the mixture should just about hold that for a second before it sort of disappears, and then you know you're ready. So once you're at this stage, you want to get 200 grams of plain flour, and we're going to sieve that in, and then we're going to beat that through as well. It's important that you sift your flour into the mixture as well, because that will remove any impurities that are in the flour and eliminate any lumps and bumps that could cause issues with your mix. So we're just going to get this incorporated now, and then we'll come back. Just before we finish our cake batter, guys, I've taken the chocolate and the butter off from the pan. I'm going to leave that to cool for 10 minutes. As you can see, it's all nicely dissolved. Really shiny on the top, and that's what we should be looking for. Okay, so I'll just leave that to cool for 10 minutes or so. There's our cake batter, guys. Lovely. There we have it, guys. There's our cake batter and our chocolate ready to go. We're going to get that incorporated in just a second. So guys, we've got our cake batter and our chocolate done. We're going to get them incorporated in just a second. Next thing we can do, we can get your ovens preheated. So as you can see, mine's on. We're going to be at 180 degrees fan, which is 200 degrees non-fan, around gas mark 6. So get that on and ready, and then we can move on to getting our chocolate incorporated into our cake batter. See you in a second. So for the next step, guys, I'm going to move over to a whisk. It's really important that you've let the chocolate rest for a good 10 minutes or so, because obviously that's going to be hot. We're going to be pouring the chocolate into our cake batter mix, which obviously contains raw egg. So if this is too hot and you pour it in too quickly, we're going to scramble them eggs, and we don't want that. So we're going to be pouring this in about thirds, whisking it in, make sure it's nicely incorporated, and then we'll obviously move on to the next third and the last third. Okay? We'll get that incorporated, and then obviously I'll show you the next step. So for that first section, even with the whisk, we're going to use a folding technique. So we're going to go around the bowl and over, and then back through the middle of the bowl, back and over. And that's what we'd call a cut and fold. So cut it, fold it, around the outside, over, through the middle, over, and you'll see that it starts to work together and all combine nice and evenly. Beautiful. There we have it, guys. That's all incorporated. That's our actual cake batter. That looks absolutely banging. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mixture and I'm going to make it really naughty. I'm going to take a third of this mixture, put it into a separate bowl, and into that third of the mixture I'm going to put a nice shot of spiced rum. Now obviously you don't have to use alcohol. You could use anything you want. You could use like an orange flavouring, or for example hazelnut flavouring, or you can swap out the alcohol for anything that you do want. If you want to obviously make it kid friendly, don't use the alcohol. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next. So that's a double shot of rum that I've poured there. We're potentially not going to use all of that. I'm going to separate the chocolate mixture out first, then we're going to add that to the consistency that we need. Obviously you don't have to use the alcohol at all, like I was saying. Traditionally you wouldn't, you'd just put this into your moulds and you'd cook it like that, and obviously the centre would still stay moist and gooey. I'm going to put the alcohol in because why not? We're having fun. About a third. So it's about a third. Quick little taste. We want to make sure that's got the flavour, but obviously not overpowering. Does need a bit more. And that's it. So out of that 50ml shot, I've used about 2/3. And it's just got a tang right at the back. Absolutely lovely. That's banging. Okay, so I just had a little bit of an accident with a piping bag. I don't really want to go into it, it's a little bit upsetting. So we're going to use the piping bag method on the outside of the mould, and then I'm just going to spoon our filling in, okay? So, as I was saying, get your mixture, make sure you squeeze the air out of it, otherwise you're going to get an air bubble and then it just goes pop and it's not very nice. So, I want to make sure you can see this. So, from the centre outwards, we're going to spiral, then we're going to work our way up the inside of the mould, and then we're going to spoon in some of the filling, and then we're going to recap it with this, okay? So, roll your piping bag around, keep it in your thumb, firm pressure from the top, holding it in the middle, and then we're going to fill that up. So I've only filled these about 2/3, and then obviously we can stick the lid on, and it's going to rise as well. So, and then we're going to pipe the topping on. Beautiful. So when you've got something that looks kind of like that, obviously you can take a little bit more time over it. We're going to put that in the fridge just to rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. Also at this stage it can be frozen, and it will last in the freezer for about a month. And then with the cooking times, you want to add about 5 to 7 minutes on top of the cooking time. So that, like I said, these usually cook about a 180 fan for 10 to 12 minutes. So add about another 5 to 7 to that if it was frozen. Okay. So I'm going to get that in the fridge. I'm going to work on a couple more, and then we'll come back and get them in the oven. Okay. Here we go then, guys. Here's 2 of our chocolate fondants. I've taken out the fridge. If you touch them, you'll feel that it's just started to get a little bit, like the butter started to set, so it started to solidify a tiny bit, and it's a little bit tacky on top. That's perfectly fine. It's been about just over 10 minutes now. I've got 3 more in the fridge which I'm going to cook up later, but we're going to get these 2 in now. Like I said, in the oven, gas mark 6, fan 180, non-fan 200. We're going to get them in 10 to 12 minutes. We're going to get them in, and then when we come back, we're going to devour some lovely chocolate fondant. Okay? Look at that. Now they're going to be a bit warm. We're going to leave them to cool for just a second, I reckon. Then we're going to get them out on a plate and ready to go. Let's move this over. We should just be able to tip. Oh, look at that. What else do we need in there? So we've got a fanned strawberry there. This is just some creme fraiche, guys. Let's get that on there. Oh, look at that. That, my friend, is beautiful. So the important thing about any chocolate fondant is that time when you cut it open and it oozes. Let's hope oh, look at that. That, my friend, is immense. There's our chocolate fondant, guys. Oozy, soft, melty, luxurious. I've just got to dive in. I don't think I can actually hold off anymore. And that's our chocolate fondant, people. Let's get into it. So we want the chocolate, the oozy chocolate, and a bit of that creme fraiche. Oh my god, that is mind blowing. And that oozy chocolate in the middle. And just warm and gooey. Slight sweetness from that rum that we put in. The chocolate casing. Nice and tacky and warm and gooey, even that's nice and soft. And the creme fraiche on top is just to break through some of that sweetness. But as you can see, that starts to melt as well from the heat of the fondant. Oh my god. One more bit. Let's stay to that. Oh my god. Honestly, you need to try that. Honestly, that's banging. That's unreal. So guys, that concludes today's video. I hope you give it a go. I hope you like it. If you do have a go, tag me, send me some pictures and tag me on social media. You'll find all the links to that down in the description below. You can find me on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that sort of thing. Other than that, guys, don't forget to feed your appetite and go back and watch all the other videos on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.